Hello, Speed Gaming 5. Welcome to the daily race. We're doing Overworld glitches category today. My name is JD Silvergun and I'm joined by Hugo. How are you doing?
Doing great today.
Okay, so there's a bit of a delay, but the racers have already started. So are you hoping to see anything in particular from this race, or do you have any thoughts?
So, I want to see someone just get stuck in an infinite screen wrap. Just to give us that lovely show that is this game being broken apart.
You want to see a hard lock? Wow, that is a cruel thing to wish for.
And
Hopefully they save beforehand if that happens, but anyways, I mean, that is a good thing to point out, though, that it is possible to hard lock the game, meaning that you will be forced to reset. You will not be able to save and quit if that happens, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
hopefully.
Hopefully we're going to get the screen fixed a second here. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that one was on me. I forgot to press the button, and we already seen Mr. Bio just clipping through a ledge, like no problem whatsoever. Same with beer.
Yeah, what Mr. Byers is doing is a very common opener to check the man under the bridge right away, because it's one of those one-offs that if you don't do it right away, you might never ever do it. But and that blue potion in Link's house, we might see them use it to do an Overworld YBA in the Dark World if the Moon Pearl is not somewhere that's easy to find.
Isn't the blue potion also... Oh, they might do that. Oh yeah, they start with boots. So, there's a sword.
That sword in the library is good. Always nice to see a weapon. Spin speed makes some of the clips easier as well.
That's almost a full clear of Kakariko. That's another sword. Okay. Sure.
Wait, where was the second sword? I missed it.
The first
on the
sword
race
is,
game?
Yeah, race game has the master sword.
Oh, well, well, weaponry shouldn't be an issue this race then, but so there is a faster way to do that, but I'm guessing that Homemade Beer has not learned that yet. It is a little bit tricky of a clip to do, but which is a good point to bring up, is that Mr. Byer is a veteran of glitch categories, and Homemade Beer is a veteran of the randomizer, but only recently has started to do some glitchy categories. So this should be a really good race, honestly, because I have faith in Beer's overall execution, like through the dungeons, even though he's having a little trouble with this obnoxious boots clip here, but he's a strong runner, so I think this will be a good race.
Mr. Byer almost has all the rupees he needs for the race.
Yeah, farming the bush crab.
20s on the bush crab. Oh my god, that is gloves on a lumberjack? Wait.
Well, that might not be required, but if it is, I mean, they'll be getting it. It's probably not required, though, to be honest, unless the other glove is like on cold stare or something like that. The gloves are generally, you only need one of them in this mode, but they might need two of them if they're unlucky.
So, fun thing about that, the weekly had gloves on lumberjack. So yeah, that's why I'm happy to see that. Oh look, that's Ether. Saying no to Ether.
He's not even getting it. I mean, he knows it's there. Maybe if it is the Mire Medallion, he'll come back for it. I am a little bit surprised he would skip it. Maybe he just doesn't want it clogging up his quick swap if it's not required. I don't know what the reasoning for that is.
That's the bowl on Beer's side.
His bomb just missed the switch somehow. That's kind of funny. On Mr. Byers' side, so he takes a death warp.
Oh my god, yeah, he has no weapons whatsoever.
Yeah, and the race room is called Tactical Death Mountain, I want to point out, so that's kind of interesting for a glitched mode, because the mountain is usually an early play in glitched modes, but He
Yes.
definitely would rather have the 2 swords that Homemade Beer has.
So what happens in glitch mode is diagonals are a suggestion. And as we can see, regular crystal in Hera, red crystal in desert, and the pendant in eastern. So that bow might be bait.
Yeah, it very well could be. It could be required for pod as well, which we're not able to access yet in this mode, but I don't know, we'll see what comes of it. And yeah, as you said about the diagonal walls can be clipped into, with it's generally easier to do with boots, which as you said, with all glitched modes start with boots. So the way we saw Mr. Byer climb the mountain, for example, next to the lumberjack house, was clipping into a diagonal slope and then just jumping across the screen transition. Now he's doing the graveyard ledge descent. Oh, going straight for King's Tomb.
He lifted a dark rock without any gloves. For a moon pearl.
Oh, and that is in logic, by the way, that clip. So the reason he was able to lift the dark rock without the mitts is because when you're standing on top of an object, for whatever reason, the game assumes that you are able to pick it up. And because he clipped off the mountain and then jumped on top of the rock in a somewhat precise way, he was able to do that. And I'm a little bit concerned about that, because if Beer doesn't know that is going to hold up his progress. Because Beer is a little bit newer to glitches, so
yeah.
I don't know. I know I used to not care for that location when I was a beginning runner because swords can be in that location, and I didn't know the clip that Mr. Byer did to get there without spin speed when I first learned this, so I was a little annoyed, but and there is an easy way to do it, I just didn't know it.
Yeah, that is big. Like, no matter the mode, like, finding the moon pearl in such an obscure location that early. And why is Beer just going from Houlihan on top of that? He's never running out of cash.
Yeah, maybe just being safe, I guess. I don't know. Look, some seeds, they'll use potions in the Dark World just for travel, or there's a YBA, or a potion glitch you can use to enter Ice Palace as well, but potions cost money. But yeah, I don't know why he's stocking up on so much money.
Oh.
It's possible he may need it, but I doubt it. And yeah, second glove on the island.
Yeah. So, we need one lamp to have access to Aga. And that might set Beer astray for a bit. At least as a
Yeah,
mount.
I don't think Mr. Byer is going to get the mitts, unless... I really don't think he's going to. Because it's unlikely they're required. The mitts only unlock, like, pretty much Smith Chain in this mode by logic. The mitts really don't lock that much logically. But he might get them, but I will be surprised if he does.
So it's somewhat similar to Inverted, where mitts are blocking very little of the game.
Yeah, it's kind of a fetch quest, really. I mean, there are ways to do the Smith and Purple Chest and stuff like that, where you would normally need the mitts without. But the Smiths are not in logic. However, that King's Tomb clip that Mr. Byer did is in logic, though. Mitts could mean early Ice Palace as well, but the flippers that Beer has and the Moon Pearl that Mr. Byer has both together put Ice Palace in logic with a screen wrap. Granted, they need fire to do anything in the dungeon, but the entry is in logic at least.
Okay, so I think Mr. Byer might do a Zora play after this.
Most likely, yes.
Like, he's already got the island, he's already got the and then under the bridge. So after Ice Cave, it's just a fake flipper and off you go. Provided the crabs don't say no.
Yeah, those crabs do a lot of damage. I've definitely, actually just recently in a seed died to the crabs because I only had 3 hearts. I think I got like frame ruled. My sword didn't do anything to protect me.
And yeah, as you can see, you scratch the crab, you lose 2 hearts. Your next red cave is Big 20. And meanwhile, beer just...
Homemade beer is following behind as well, so hopefully he checks the island as well. Like most people will do the water walk after this route.
Yeah, if you have the boots, it's free. And it's fast.
And water walking is actually in logic in this mode as well, as are fake flippers.
Fake flippers in particular is such an easy thing to do, like just take the edge of the screen, jump into the water, and transition.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
That was Ice Rod. Well, I have to wait for one of them.
Was it in Ice Rod Cave? I missed it as well.
Waterfall.
Or oh, it was in the waterfall. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oof.
So Beer is also setting up the water walk.
20 bucks.
It has flippers, so can do this.
Oh, yeah. Good guy. Activated from the thing.
Alright, so Beer sees the glove, but I'm not sure if he knows how to access it. It is a fairly common thing, but I'm just not sure what he knows because he is new to glitching. Mr. Byer used a glitch called a funny auto walk thing to reach it, which what that means is when you are standing on top of a screen transition and you activate it, for whatever reason, the game will like automatically walk you like through collision and obstacles like a set amount of distance. So it is a fairly easy way to grab that item if you know that it's available.
Okay, so now Meyer has the infinite item. And Diagonal's being a suggestion again. On both screens.
Yeah, Mr. Byer did a teleport to get into the clouds and check the floating island. It could have grabbed the item if he wanted it. And Mr. Byer getting trolled by all these like high damage enemies.
Oh yeah, that rocks just block you.
Beer is giving us a Hera DMA. A little bit of an older style, but it works.
That's the thing with a lot of older strats, like, they're slower, but they are easier to do generally.
Yeah, it's interesting that even though Beer is a newer, player of glitched modes, he uses some of the older strats because there are a lot of very old tutorials on YouTube that people learn from as well. So it's interesting to see what people know and what they use. We're getting a Hera play from Beer.
It's a crystal, so 100%.
Yep, it shouldn't be a hard fight at all with the Master Sword, just 3 spins.
Oh yeah, Fire just skipped Kakariko and is swordless for now.
In like a regular open mode, that might seem like kind of a meme route, but in glitched modes, it's not uncommon to see people try to put off Kakariko until they have like a bottle and the powder or like the flute, just to try to either full clear it or have an easy way to return to town to full clear it when necessary. But in this particular seed, it is not doing him any favors.
Yeah, so far the mountain had very little. Okay, let's see if Hera has anything. And no.
First crystal on the board for homemade beer under 15 minutes. That's a good start to the seed. We're getting a potion shop DMD from Mr. Bayer. That was another auto walk that I was explaining earlier. It's interesting.
So he used his blue potion to not die to Mini Moldarm in Spiral Cave.
Probably a good idea. Don't want to have to come back there or hope that nothing is there otherwise.
And there's Eastern.
Yep, just teleporting and jumping out of bounds. No problem.
Oh, hi, Fire Rod. It's I'm gonna need that one, so it's Turtle Rock is gonna be something, I guess.
It looks like I think Mr. Bayer's going in the Dark World right now, just doing a Hera clip to get to the top of the mountain quickly.
Yeah, not having to deal with the cabbages.
Yep.
And
saw Green Pendant Swamp and Pendant Ice.
I missed what was the other red. But yeah, no dependence.
Yeah, that's interesting that you bring up the red crystals, because it's very, very unusual to see people actually buy the big red bomb in a glitched mode. I mean, it's certainly possible, but there is a glitch that's in logic using the mirror to access the Pyramid Fairy, and you don't even need the Moon Pearl to do it. It's called Offset Mirror Portal. So if the mirror is in Pyramid Fairy, that would be unfortunate, but I don't know, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if the red crystals are relevant or not. I think one of them might have been Turtle Rock, but I'm not sure though.
Does fire hover?
Not to my knowledge, no. And Homemade Beer had a little bit of a mishap there. I'm not sure I've seen that particular kind of mistake before, but it saves and quits before anything bad happens, so that's good on his part for reacting quickly.
And Turtle Rock is Bombos. And is Bayer going for Catfish?
Yes. Is that Catfish Death Mountain Descent? Another auto walk because it places you on the screen transition. I think we're seeing a little bit of nerves from Homemade Beer, because I have watched his stream from time to time, and he is normally a little bit faster at these clips, but I don't know, who knows. I know I get nervous, like, during a race, for sure.
There's, like, nothing on the line on this race, but you still want to come up on top. Oh, it's just cash on the floating island. And Bayer's finally back on Kakariko.
Well, he's going to get his 2 swords in the south side of town, and probably continue into desert the way we saw Homemade Beer do. And actually can clear desert because he has the fire rod.
So he did a fake flute, if I'm not mistaken. That has to do with the blue potion.
Yes, that is correct. You can do a fake flute by... It's an Overworld YBA. YBA means Yuzuhara's Bottle Adventure. It's just a name that we call it after the person who discovered it. But if you drink a potion and screen transition on the same frame, that can have a variety of effects. And for blue potions on the overworld, it brings up the flute menu, and you can do this in the dark world as well. And we might be seeing that from our runners, but maybe not. I would expect it maybe more from homemade beer because Mr. Buyer has the Moon Pearl, but I mean they still could be used for routing as well in some instances though, so I don't know, we'll see what they do with that, or if they decide to utilize that. It's allowed, but it's not in logic, so I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, so I'm a bit worried about beer because of that Moon Pearl location.
Yeah, I am as well, particularly because the two gloves, like one is in a very bad spot. That one that he just swam past again. And I wouldn't be surprised if he just looks up how to get that if he doesn't know how to already. There's a nice map that one of our very dedicated members of the glitch community, Malmo, has created and edited over time that basically tells you like how to do things in various spots on the overworld. And I wouldn't be surprised if Beer has like some of those resources open up or like opened in his browser like while he's racing, just in case something comes up.
It's like
well, at least
learning
hopefully
to do the glitches as you go.
And that's pretty much what it is, because you don't know what you're going to need. Like, you don't do the same stuff in every race. I mean, sometimes you do, but...
And also, we have like the glitch guideline for commentators, and it's like over 20 different glitches.
Oh, I've never read that, but it's nice that there's at least something for people that aren't familiar with them. Mr. Buyer into Skull Woods does not want to go to Desert, or did not even get his swords, I don't think, in the south side of town.
Oh my god, his route is a bit of a meme.
Yeah, I would think he would. I would have. I don't know. I would think Desert is an okay play. I mean, he can clear it with the Fire Rod, but maybe doesn't want to have to do it swordless, but he doesn't know that swords are on the way. I don't know, there's just a little bit of unfortunate stuff happening for both runners, so we'll have to see who solves their issue sooner. Homemade Beer is taking the bait to Eastern with the bow.
Yep, that happens. Well, let's see if Eastern has anything. If it's bait or if it's actual direction.
No. 3 items here, but we know the Moon Pearl is not here, though, and that is very likely the step in the progression chain that he's missing right now. But we'll see.
Oh yeah, bottle.
Bottles are always nice to have. Good safety, and they might use them for glitches, but probably not in this mode.
Yeah, we're getting a big game on your side. Digs for what seems to be a vanilla piece of art, and he's just gonna head to Meyer.
Actually, this might be going back up to Village. Oh no, never mind. There's so many different ways to do that Meyer clip. I wasn't sure where he was going, but yeah, you were correct.
Oh, it's either for Meyer. Okay.
So he did go back and pick it up, it looks like. The tracker tracked it for him.
Yeah, he had another time, like he did another screen wrap.
Oh yeah, you know why he didn't do it the first time is because he didn't have enough bombs to hit the switch twice. Because if you hit the switch to get the item, you have to hit it again to get out or take a death warp, and then you have to hit the switch again to get the other item on the entry floor of Hera. That's why he skipped it the first time. I just wasn't paying attention to his resources.
He spent a lot of time with like only bombs as his method of hitting the switches. And Eastern being a bust.
Did we see all 3 items already? I wasn't counting.
I wasn't counting either, but it seems that it's a bust. Like nothing caught my eye.
A hype cave from Mr. Buyer. Will it deliver today?
3 bombs. I don't know. Full heart? Oh, king. Another heart. Okay, we need that king.
Yes, we do. We do need that for Turtle Rock. And it's interesting that you pointed out that the CR medallion is Bombos because in this mode, I'd say it's fairly uncommon to see people actually enter through the front door. As there is a mirror clip, you can get into Turtle Rock even without the Moon Pearl. But also you can use super speed to clip into the bridge with the big chest entrance and the left entrance. And there are also other ways to get directly to Laser Bridge, which those are not in logic, but they are certainly allowed in this mode, though.
What is he doing?
This is a swim clip he's trying to set up. And if he succeeds, which he should in a second, this will take him to the Pyramid Fairy. So this is not in logic, but this is another way we can ignore the red crystal requirement.
Oh.
It's like he was a little bit too low to get the entry to the door. I'm gonna try it again, probably.
Eastern was a bust.
Well, if it's a ped seed, homemade beer may have a slight advantage now with that clear, but I don't know, we just don't know yet. So there are other pendants, but Swamp. This could be a hookshotless seed with Swamp being a pendant. And Ice as a pendant. That they already have a glove, and we need Hammer for Pod, so there's not gonna be any requirements that they don't have for that.
Oh no, Beer pulled out a cape. That's another thing that points at Aga.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, let's see if I advertise the charm.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised that it's taking him this long to do this, but I mean, it happens. So this requires the Moon Pearl, which is interesting. Otherwise, you can't get the water walk state. You're going to see when he exits, he's going to splash out, like, even though he's not in water anymore. Game, okay, well, he's not exiting to show us, unfortunately, but he was technically in a water walk state, even though he was inside the Pyramid Fairy. Nothing there.
With the Waterfall Fairy? That might be one of the reasons.
Well, because he entered with a swim clip, the game thought he was still swimming for whatever reason, and then by exiting and re-entering, the Moon Pearl gives you the water walk. That would be my guess. Oh,
They're finally getting the swords.
Hopefully. He could be strategically avoiding them on accident. Okay, just a K45 check. He is going north. That's a good point you brought up about the cape. I wonder if that actually has any logical implication, because The randomizer could have placed the Highly Island one as the logical glove, or it could be the Lumberjack one, because if the other glove is not needed later in the seed, like, it could have just been placed randomly by the algorithm, but not actually logically.
Oh. Okay.
So Mr. Byer is showing us how to steal the item without actually doing the race. It was a very nice shortcut. It is possible to soft-log doing that, but Mr. Byer avoids that.
And there's desert. This is actually the information.
And Beer has been here, but I didn't see if he got both items. He was unable to do the boss without having fire at the time. So I expect Mr. Byer to full clear this.
Oh yeah. Actually missed that. And
Our tracker's saying one item on the boss. Or wait, that might have been an old message about Eastern, I'm not sure.
Yeah, for the Yarmos Knights had a big 20. So things not looking great.
Back of Escape, I don't remember if we've seen this or not. Oh, we haven't, because it's the hammer.
Oh, yeah. The single arrow of destiny, hammer, and a map. So, oh yeah, the bow.
Right, so hammer we know is for sure required for pod because it's a crystal, but it is possible in this mode to get a seed where hammer is not required at all. So it's good that they found it.
You need it for what? Swamp?
Swamp, ice, and pod, I believe, are the only dungeons that require the hammer to be used like inside the dungeon.
Yeah, so it's a bit tricky. Fire has a fairy.
Oops. It happens to the best of us.
Whoops, indeed. He got that from the Fat Fairy. And Beer showing that the rocks in the entrance are just a suggestion as well.
Well, he is going to have to save and quit after killing the boss because he doesn't have the flute or a glove, so he's going to be trapped behind the rocks. But not that that's going to bother him. But it is kind of funny though.
Both runners in the back of the desert.
Makes sense because Beer is like, where the hell is this moon pearl? And Mr. Byer is finally clearing a dungeon, so he's probably happy about that.
Oh yeah. And so yeah, 2 shots of Pearl and Mola. And I don't think he has enough magic. Yeah, he doesn't have enough magic for all 3. That was very nice firing.
Yeah, he got all 5 of his shots to it. That was really good.
Oh, that for 20. Oh no.
Yeah, it was an item, just not a good item, unfortunately. But Homemade Beer already has all the Light World dungeons cleared, so it's probably wondering where he's supposed to go.
Oh dear, that's gonna be a bit sad. Like, seeing him unsure if he can get to the thing he can get to. Probably gonna do a Naga out of logic.
I wouldn't expect an Aga play. However, if with the Fire Rod, it wouldn't be that bad. But I don't expect to see him do it. And I also know for a fact that Homemade Beer uses map trackers, so I've never used one, but from my understanding is that they tell you what's in logic or not, like, on the map. So he knows what his options are, like, at least logically.
I hope.
It looks like he's going into the Dark World right now. And just doing a teleport to ignore the MITS requirement here.
And that's information on the rock entrance if he wants that. You can get.
Maybe he's thinking Super Bunny, probably.
Yeah. Oh dear. Fighters still are clearing hero.
Yeah, our tracker is bringing up an interesting point. There recently was discovered another way to access King's Tomb without the MITs, but unfortunately that requires the hook shot, which we don't have yet. And we might not see it at all this seed, honestly, because I know Homemade Beer can hover and Mr. Buyer can Moldorm bounce, but I don't know. Well, those are issues that will come up later, if they do come up at all.
Yeah, on the weekly, this Sunday, we had both a hover and a Moldorm bounce.
That sounds like quite a race. I'm a little annoyed I missed it.
So, here's the gist of it. First place got an hour and 8 minutes. Don't know how. Then top 5 were under 1 hour and 20. And then about 3 more in the 130 to 140, and the rest all went past 140. Because Kane was in Meyer.
It's pretty interesting. Was it a pendant Meyer as well?
No, it was a crystal Meyer.
Yeah.
And there's Moldorm for Meyer.
Yeah, nicely handled. Got the enraged Moldorm, but did not fall anyway.
Oh, Beer's going for Aga. Oh no.
I mean, this has to be a play strictly for the glove, because I know Homemade Beer knows how to fake flute, so you can fake flute to check the pyramid item if he's like suspecting like there's a moon pearl on pyramid ledge. So this play has to be strictly for the glove, like unless he's just forgetting. Or no, I know sometimes I don't use my full knowledge correctly when I'm in the middle of a race. So, but I don't know. I'm really surprised to see this play. But it has the fire rod, so I don't think he's gonna have any trouble with this climb.
So I think it's a play for the glove, because he's doing this right after checking Lumberjack.
That's unfortunate, because I know that unless for some reason the MITs are required, although I'm having trouble thinking of a way that they could be required that can't be circumvented. Like, Mr. Buyer is just not going to do this. Okay, so Mr. Buyer's showing us this is a mirrorless screen wrap setup to get to Laser Bridge, and it's a lot of steps, but he knows them very well, and he gets it first try. There are a lot of steps where you can mess that up, and he didn't have any trouble. That was really nice. Unfortunately, dies trying to bomb the wall open. I'm not sure I've seen that before. It's not going to cause an issue, but it's kind of funny, though.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't seen that before, to be honest. That seems like something that could come up.
Burnout, Boomerang, Compass. And
this is not in logic, by the way, but it's a common way to access the dungeon if you know how.
Yeah, it's a bit more. It's a lot more steps compared to just jump onto the first, like the higher ledge.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't think he's paying attention.
Yeah, I mean mistakes do happen, which is good for the race because, like I was saying, I don't see a world where Mr. Byer does this Aga Tower climb. He might not go to Eastern at all either. It just depends on what the rest of the seed has in store for them. But this TR play is not too surprising. He has Samaria and both rods, so he can clear this dungeon, like everything.
So it's just those two runners today. So once this is done, the race is done.
Yeah, I'm glad that they joined, because even though I like glitched A Link to the Past, not the biggest fan of this particular mode. So I'd rather commentate than play this mode, but I mean, it's still fun though.
That seems it's a bit heavy mentally to play this thing.
I don't know, I just kind of hooked on no logic right now, or like there are other modes like hybrid major glitches, which are very similar to this mode, but just have additional logic for dungeons, like underworld clipping as well. Like this mode, most people I know that are veterans in the glitch community don't really play this mode because it's kind of a stepping stone. But hookshot in the lava chest for Mr. Byer, interesting.
Oh dear. Yeah, beer is gonna be on this for a while. I don't know how much time it's allotted for this one. Like I usually have a number in my head for how long the races take, but I have nothing for the glitch modes.
It's generally a little bit more high variance. And because the Sphere 1 is massive in glitched modes, that we usually see a bit more like thorough play than in a regular open seed. But it just depends where the items are. So I'm a little worried about homemade beer as well, but I think if he follows his map tracker, he might look up on how to access certain locations even if he doesn't know how to do it.
Okay, so Turtle Rock is our other red crystal. So everything else is a crystal. Also, this is gonna be a low percent try next.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of doing this fight with no hammer and with the Master Sword only, but I think he should still have a potion. Oh, he has half magic. That's not terribly bad. He just needs to not take too many hits.
And the Death Warp back to the Laser Bridge.
But yeah, half magic is really helpful for the fight, though, even though it's going to take longer with Master Sword. And this is a situation that we don't normally see in non-glitched modes outside of entrance, is doing a Trinex fight without having the hammer in case your sword is not good.
Okay, Beer just has to figure out the Lake Hylia Island, and then he can get the Monk Pearl without many other problems. At least I hope.
It's just unfortunate that that happens to be one, like, I mean, I've seen him stream and he does know a lot of overworld stuff for someone who hasn't been glitching very long, but it's just unfortunate that it happens to be two locations that he doesn't really know how to deal with. It's pretty bad luck if you ask me. The glove on Hylia Island and the pearl in King's Tomb. Because the logic expects you to be able to reach King's Tomb literally, with just the boots that you start with.
It's rough. Okay, he might be going for King's Tomb now.
Yeah, looks like it. Super
Oh.
speed. Unfortunately, doesn't get the input. When you're falling, you need to hold up left for whatever reason. It just puts you in the right spot. I've seen people pause buffer it to make sure they don't mess it up, but I think generally the fall is enough time to do it. He's just gonna try again, not a big deal.
Yep, there it is.
Mr. Bayer was successful with his try next fight.
Nice. Oh, Beer got it. That was beautiful.
Yeah, Beer is about to get his Moon Pearl. Probably not going to be very happy, as considering he did an Aga Tower climb, but...
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you need, like, some more specialized shenanigans to do certain things. Okay, let's see here, so... Where's Fire going?
Not sure. This is a Death Mountain descent, but I'm not sure where he's going after that, though. Is Mr. Bayer... I guess he forgot about it, but most people usually check the back of Escape as soon as they find a glove. Like, on their next save and quit, not like immediately, but... Okay, so this is the Skull Woods play for Mr. Bayer.
It's a Skull Woods.
Probably from Beer as well.
Because they can clear both dungeons. So... yeah, knock those two down right now.
I know Mr. Bayer may be a little bit worried about not having the hammer for Thieves Town, or maybe hoping he can find it up here beforehand. I mean, we know that's not going to be the case, but it does make sense, though.
Oh yeah, hammer is back of Escape. Oh, that's it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, and we know the hammer is definitely required for Pod and possibly for the GT Big Key. Which is another thing actually worth noting in this mode, that that Ganon's Tower is in logic with only the Moon Pearl. You can be expected to clip into Ganon's Tower to look for progression items.
Clip just the same way as they clip into Hera. That's my
It's
guess.
not exactly the same, but it's similar, yeah.
It's not the same because the two entrances aren't in the same location, so you have to take a different position.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, you have to like buffer. Well, I mean, you don't have to buffer, but it requires a diagonal input for the GT clip. Or a Hera clip, you literally just do the boots clip, and then you just jump right up there.
Okay, so both of them in the same dungeon. Health not looking great for Bayer.
I've not been keeping track of the contents of his bottles, but Mr. Bayer recently got a 120 in all dungeons RMG, which is a pretty good time. So, I mean, I have faith in his moth fight.
Oh dear.
Homemade Beer takes down his moth.
Thanks, Discord. Oh, the mirror's on moth. That's gonna be important.
It's helpful for routing, but it could be a red herring. It might not actually be required in this seed.
Oh yeah, swamp is abandoned, so... Oh, that is actually a nice to have for a lot of dungeons. Let's see, what are we missing? So, hammer. And I'm missing hammer.
Yeah, are we in no mode as the audience right now? That's an interesting point that you're bringing up. Because Homemade Beer needs Samaria from Hype Cave. Mr. Fire needs Hammer from Back of Escape. Yeah, I mean that could be it.
Let's see, tempered and silvers would be nice to have. And that's it. Yeah, we're approaching gold.
Yeah, so all in all, not too bad of a seed. No pendant dips actually required.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And no progression in GT either. It's a little bit unusual. It's not unheard of in a glitched mode, but yeah, I would say it's a little bit unusual that there's like literally nothing there except for maybe a sword or another bow, like you said. But we'll see. They still have a lot to clear out.
Oh, hi, flute.
That flute, I don't know. He might activate it since he's right here, or just use the mirror, but it's not uncommon to see the flute just, if it's found too late in a seed, to just not be activated in a glitched mode. Because as we saw earlier, we can just clip straight into Mire. It's not actually required.
Oh yeah. I'm overall a bit worried about beer because of the last location in Pearl. It's gonna be a few minutes, like a few tens of minutes behind.
I mean, Homemade Beer is definitely behind, but I think the location that he needs to go to is something that he's going to check anyway, whereas Mr. Buyer needs to remember that he has the Back of Escape to check when he also has the whole game open. He's like already into the Dark World and like dungeon clearing mode. He has to actually think to save and quit to Sanctuary, which is not commonly seen in glitched modes.
Or just
I mean,
walk
unless
over
you're going
there
to poach.
and
Yeah, he could. He could, but I'm just not sure if like if you're playing Overworld glitched, if you like really think that way, because he already did Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb, you know. But that's a good point. He could do that.
He did not check.
I'm sorry.
What is the name again? Bumper Ledge. So if he goes that way, that's the opportunity to actually check Back of Escape.
Are you sure he didn't check it? Because he's been to the Dark World before, like doing that same Death Mountain descent. He might have checked it on his first trip, but I could be wrong. I would be surprised if he didn't take a look, though. It's just like a common thing people do when they start routing the Dark World without the hammer, without the mitts, in this kind of a mode. But he could have skipped it, you're right.
Be careful with that mirror, because it's things can go wrong. So you should be saving magic to actually use on blind.
He might have a potion, or is just confident in his blind script.
Oh yeah, Beer's gonna be able to check the big chest. Five hearts, quite a bit of magic left.
Yeah, he'll be fine, I'm sure.
Goof, I'm gonna check your...
It's the first part of the script.
Yeah.
Okay, second part is good.
I'm done.
Yeah, perfect script. Very nicely done.
apparently there's
No,
not a big chest.
Well, the only thing it could have been that would really help him would be another sword or the silvers, because we know where the progression items are now. But yeah, that was a really nice fight for Mr. Byer. I have lately been struggling on the third part of the script for whatever reason, but I don't know. Maybe just not enough practice.
And going to Meyer. Oh my god.
Maybe you're also doing the script without getting hit, yeah.
So yeah, he just needs to get the hammer from Bag of Escape and then do pod. Yeah, Fire is setting himself up to the trip of his life, just searching the world for hammer.
If he saves and quits to Sanctuary after he clears this dungeon, he's going to get it right away. I mean, he's already checked the Dark World around here, and unless he wants to go into Swamp or Ice, which, I mean, he could if he wants to, but I'm not sure that that's what he'll do. Beer, it looks like he's on his way to Hype Cave now.
Hype Cave had, let's see. Oh yeah,
Samaria.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, well, maybe he's gonna check this stuff over here first. Oh, I don't know where he's going.
Can I check this stuff? Oh, he's gonna activate the flute. Speaking of which, I think Fire forgot the flute or just didn't care about it.
I think he probably doesn't care. He knows he's like more than halfway done with the seeds already. Maybe he just figures he doesn't need it. I'm a little more surprised that Beer went back to activate the flute than Mr. Byer like skipping it entirely. I mean, there are arguments to be made about how long the cutscene is and how much time do you actually save using it to travel and all that. For people that time stuff out, which are not me, but I don't know. I probably would not have activated it either. Whether that's right or wrong, I can't say, but I can tell you it's definitely not required.
So Balder in Meyer.
Yeah, it's a fetch quest to. It's another thing in town, so I don't know. So maybe the flute would have helped him there. I mean, we know it's nothing, but he doesn't know that.
And Beer is going after Meyer as well.
Yeah, it makes sense to check the Meyer shed and get medallion info. Because Beer doesn't know that he'll be in go mode like pretty soon if he goes to Hype Cave, but
It's gonna be.
I don't know, this is
not enough.
yeah, I think this seed's kind of interesting because I don't know, some of these can get a little bit trolly, but we know that no like pendant dungeon dips are required at all in this seed, and I don't know, I don't think any particular item location is that bad. It's just unfortunate for Homemade Beer that he did not know the King's Tomb clip or the Hylia Island clip either. I did say this already, but I think that it's just really bad luck for him.
He did Agony without the lamp, which is 100% out of logic. So yeah, that one is unfortunate. Okay. Let's see here.
But then what did he use the glove for, though? I mean, he went to Checkerboard Cave, which was just a bottle, if I remember correctly. But I mean, I don't think the glove is actually required for anything in this seed.
They are not. Let's see here. Yeah,
I guess it was, yeah, because he didn't even use the glove to check escape. Like, he walked to the back, like, through the castle, so that, I don't know. It's just interesting how many different ways you can route stuff.
Oh no, the logic requires you to use the backup escape so far, like the drop down. Because without the lamp, the sewer escape is not in logic without the lamp.
No, I'm pretty sure it is, if this is advanced item placement, because the fire rod with the torches logic, the reason the Aga is not in logic is because there aren't torches in every room that you can light. I mean, assuming this is advanced logic.
Something like that.
Yeah, I thought that was correct as well, what you were saying, but I was recently corrected about that there actually are torches in every room in the back of Escape. Like, I just never saw them because it was dark.
From what I remember, like the ruling on that was that the torch needed to be somewhere easily accessible. So like, it's just a matter of turning left or right and firing the shot, and then you light a torch. That was what I remember from the time the change was made. But they might have just made things a bit more advanced since then.
Yeah, I'm going off of what I was told, and this very recently I was corrected about the back of Escape thing. I'm assuming it's correct, but... Well, meanwhile, while we were discussing that, Mr. Byer did an out-of-logic Meyer basement dark clear, but he got it done without dying, so that is really good for him. And Meyer is some of the hardest dark rooms in the entire game, actually.
Oh yeah, that mostly the placing the somebody block down, like that room is the trickier one.
Yeah, because you're getting blasted with fireballs the whole time while you're trying to set it up.
There is, like, the fire shield can make that thing a bit easier. At least the setup that I use, you walk to the block, to the rock, let 2 fireballs stink on the shield, and then you pull the block and put the Samaya block down.
Yeah, that is one of the few rooms where a shield actually could be helpful. I've kind of grown away from wanting to get shields, because there are certain bomb clips that having a shield like can obstruct the visual cue, specifically the mirror shield. I hate the mirror shield, but I don't know, there are arguments whether it's worth it to have a shield or not, and pros and cons to both sides. But where's Mr. Byer going right now?
He is going on an adventure, searching for for the hammer, and he's gonna go to Spike Cave. Oh wait, no, you can't get that.
No.
Spike Cave requires hammer.
Oh, this is a GT play. It looked like maybe he wasn't sure at first where he wanted to go, but as he can full clear right side, and if the big key is on the right side, I expect to see him climb just to get it out of the way, since he's already here, but maybe he won't. We'll see if the big key is hammer locked or not.
Oh, that's Heart of Murders, the GT guessing game minigame. Oh, hey, mail.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I never play that game, so I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right. Well, he doesn't have access to all 22 locations, and he's gambling that the big key is not in tile room, and orphaning the big chest as well, it looks like. Possibly. If I'm in Mr. Byers' situation where I can only do one side and not the other, or like I guess it would only come up for right side, I would definitely do tile room in case the big key is there because he's still looking for progression items. For all he knows, the hammer very well could be in the GT big chest. So this is a pretty bold gamble in my opinion, but okay,
Yeah.
well it pays off because the big key is not in tile room.
So at 1 hour, 4 minutes, and 29 seconds, homemade beer enters go mode.
Oh, yeah, very good for him. It's a little behind on the crystal count, but he has everything he needs, though. As I am sure that Beer can do Dark Mire and Dark Pod as well.
Keep in
Although
mind we
Pod is an unfortunate dungeon to go mode, because you end up checking like everything anyway if the big key's not in the front.
Oh yeah, there's that. Oof. Big 20 on the big chest. And we're gonna get an Amazon Ice.
Oh, sorry, I missed it. I missed a question in chat. How would one get into TR without bombos logically? There are many different ways. Two of them involve the mirror. You can clip onto the bridge with the two entrances on the overworld. You can also do what's called a mirror wrap to access Laser Bridge directly. And we saw it earlier from Mr. Byer when he was in TR. He did a complicated overworld glitch to set up a screen wrap to also access Laser Bridge directly without the mirror. And there also is a way to jump directly onto the bridge that has the two entrances with a super speed clip. So I believe logically that Bombos is required, but it's not actually required.
Oh dear, that was the mushroom. We got more fetch
Another
quests.
fetch quest.
And we're gonna see a tile room.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I ignored. So the logical part of that question, sorry, I didn't answer that correctly. Though it is not in logic to go to Laser Bridge, but it is in logic to go to the bridge that connects the left side to the big chest, using a mirror clip or a super speed clip. So those are the two ways to enter the dungeon logically without going through the front door. Sorry, that was a very long answer, but I got there eventually. And another question in chat. The gloves were not required logically that we know of, because the hammer was in the back of Escape, but Homemade Beer accessed it by walking like through from the front of the castle. So I'm pretty sure that the gloves aren't required.
Oh. That is a sword.
Well, he got paid out for the time he spent waiting for it, that's for sure.
So yeah, that's gonna make the Ganon fight faster.
Yeah, a lot faster. I mean, if silver arrows don't show up. So, and as I expected, we were getting a GT climb from Mr. Byer.
You're already here. Cleared it out. Don't have to touch the mountain again.
Yep. If he does drop into Ganon, he will get a very not polite reminder that he doesn't have all the crystals yet, but we'll see if that happens.
Oh, the location of the pod big key is very good.
Yeah, not too bad. Because sometimes it's like you end up checking like 12 out of 14 anyway in a quote-unquote go mode pod. So, Homemade Beer is about to get his 5th crystal. Mr. Byer has 6 crystals already, just needs hammer. So, I'd still say Mr. Byer has quite a lead, but this race is going to depend on how long it takes Mr. Byer to check the bag of escape, really, is what it's going to come down to.
So what happens with his lead? This is one thing that a map tracker can definitely save someone, is with a map tracker, it's going to be showing to you that you have not done bag of escape yet.
And it is quick to do that.
It is, but the problem is, if you're not using the map tracker and you forget about that, then it's the problems begin.
I don't know if Mr. Byer uses a map tracker or not. I don't remember, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure he knows he hasn't done the back of escape, but whether or not he's actually thinking about that as a priority, I'm not sure. But he's probably thinking like what he's going to do after this right now, because, or actually, well, he's probably hoping the hammer's up here in one of these 4 checks. Nice Humbuster fight from Beer, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Wait, did Beer ditch out of Meyer?
He didn't have Samario when he was there.
Oh yeah, that.
But he did get the big key, which was vanilla, unfortunately, but yeah, he'll be ready to just rush to the boss when he goes back. But he even has the mitts and the flute, so it is fast to get back there.
Yeah. Forgot about that detail.
Homemade Beer showing us the left side hero clip. It's a little bit slower, but it's a little bit safer, generally. Let's see. This is probably, actually, I'm not sure where he's going. Oh, he's also going to GT. Well, this is kind of also unfortunate because him having the hammer and the big key being on the right side means he could potentially waste a lot of time here. I mean, it only takes like a couple minutes to do the left side, but that's time that he can't really afford to give up. And he's going for it with a hope left strat, unfortunately.
Why is he not doing Turtle Rock now?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's thinking right now. I mean, he doesn't... I'm pretty sure he knows he could be in go mode, but... I don't know, I'm not sure. We'll have to ask after the race what he was thinking.
Okay, this card is not cooperating with me today. I missed most of the Aga fight.
Oh, he didn't take any damage. Oh yeah, the silvers are a good find. Mr. Byer is definitely not going to see that. So that will at least save him the time it takes to do the left side, if he stays on Master Sword the whole time. The 24 spins for Phase 4 is not exactly difficult, but it is very time consuming.
Oh. Fire is the correct location.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, this makes sense. The GT and Mirror start checking the castle.
Meanwhile, Beer showing that the hookshot is a suggestion.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That I mean, I've seen Homemade Beer hover so many times, and we know nothing's in Swamp. I didn't even think about it, but yeah, not having the hookshot and still going through with this, out of logic left side play is interesting. The only chest that would have been in logic is the map chest, because everything else is hook locked on the side.
He's just bomb jumping to everything.
And we know that when he does Turtle Rock, the hook shot is just on the way to the big key, but he might decide to clear a GT without it, just full clear, just to get it out of the way.
Yeah, so one runner has silvers, the other has tempered. But I don't. Oh. I wonder if Beer is looking for bombos.
It may be, but I mean, I don't think so, though. I know Beer knows how to get into Turtle Rock, at least the middle. Actually, he knows the mirror wrap as well to get to the back. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know the mirrorless screen wrap to get to Laser Bridge, but I've seen him do the mirror wrap before, though.
Oh, there it is. Buyer's in the correct location.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time. This is a lot more appealing than going to a pendant dungeon, at least I would think for most people.
Oh, Beer is doing Cloud Roam.
Yeah. And he knows the big key could be here. It doesn't want to risk orphaning the big chest, I guess. So, Mr. Buyer at just about 116 enters go mode.
With just the Crystal Dungeon left, not even GT. That was a weird sequence of checks. Here's not gonna have too many difficulties going through GT, thanks to Tempered.
See, that silvers matter a lot less now that he has tempered, though. Like, I mean, because he took the time to get the sword in tile room. That is just more waiting. I don't know. It's kind of a little bit amusing.
Okay, let's see here. Time-wise, about 6 minutes for Buyer to finish, and here we're looking at 12 to 15 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. The Ganon fight takes approximately 2 minutes, depending on execution and warps. And Pod itself, we know the big key isn't in a terrible place, but the statue animation, or like the wall moving animation, I mean, is quite a lengthy cutscene, though.
Oh, yeah.
And doing the basement and all that. So, I mean, that estimate sounds pretty good to me. And well played from Mr. Buyer, despite somehow dodging the first two swords for a very long time.
Oh, he's doing the back first. Well, that's gonna take a while.
Yeah. There's a certain key logic for Pod where you can kind of deduce that the right side is nothing but small keys. Maybe that's what he's trying to do and just figures he can just skip it, but we know that that's not going to be the case this time. Oh, the lamp is in the basement of Pod, in the rupee basement. That's kind of amusing. So we see our fire rod logic in place there.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, but well, that is found now.
Yeah, found after doing Meyer basement is a little bit rude, but
Oh, that's the Dark Maze. At least this is not gonna be too much trouble. I guess he does a Death Warp out of here.
Could just mirror, I don't know. We'll see what he decides to do. Yeah. And so now he has to do the bow side because he has no keys left.
Yeah. Oh, that lamp is actually great. Saves a lot of magic on Ganon. And somewhat makes the torch glitch free.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you can just spam the lamp, or the fire rod is a bit more precise. You usually can only get like 2 shots off.
And that's the big key.
Yep, Mr. Byer experiencing the joys of a Go Mode pod and homemade beer hovering the Moldorm 2 gap. First try, I think. Actually, I wasn't paying attention. I think it was first try.
Yeah, I guess that was first try as well. The bumper is not throwing a fit.
Yeah, it doesn't every time, but I remember that was always amusing around the time I learned Moldorm Bounce to get the crazy bumper. Yeah, Bumper doesn't always like when Moldorm's still alive for whatever reason.
Nope. That was a double. And this
Not a
card,
bad fight.
why?
Yeah, I'm not
Nope.
sure how many cycles it was, but it was... I mean, I'm terrible at that fight. It didn't look too bad to me.
Yeah, my Discord is like having connection issues. I can still follow
hopefully
to
that
Twitch, but I don't
sorted,
think.
hopefully. Well, Mr. Byer into the Helmasaur fight. This is all that stands between him and Ganon right now. Don't expect to see any issues. Using a nice spin speed hammer strat to get the mask off. Or maybe not even spin speed, I don't know. He switched the sword very quickly.
You put the sword out to extend the hammer hitbox. It's the one thing that saves hammering upwards.
Well, that is
Yes.
like the safe strat, because he can't walk into you if you have your sword out.
So that's 7 crystals and no GT guessing game today because Fire did that completely out of logic. Actually, in logic.
Well, in
And,
logic, but just not at the end, yeah. You're getting the old style mirror wrap from Homemade Beer. A setup I don't see too often anymore. But it was nicely done. He used a bomb to put himself on the edge of the screen. Or a mirror wrap is a transition corruption type of glitch, where if you mirror on the same frame as the transition, well, the game does funny things, so... And now he's in Laser Bridge.
So there's one, I guess, constant about this game is it does not like doing 2 things at the same time.
Yeah,
And,
that seems to be it, yep.
that becomes the basis of a lot of the shenanigans we've seen today.
Yeah, and also diagonal walls have a bunch of holes in them. Mr. Byer into the Ganon fight.
And... nicely done on the first phase. Nicely done on the second phase.
Yeah, gets the 1-1. Nice. Having a few teleports from Ganon.
That's not the worst. There was... I don't remember which race it was, but Ganon did 13 teleports.
That's pretty bad. Oh, goes for the Fire Rod Torch Glitch despite having the lamp. I mean, I do this too, but I don't blame him, but it's unfortunate that he missed it, though. He's thinking if he wants to do this or not. I don't know. Or I don't know, maybe he just wanted to do it with the Fire Rod, because... I don't know, sometimes it might be worth considering just restarting the fight if you miss Torch Glitch without silvers, but he's got plenty of magic, so it is doable.
I think he's still has that quick potion.
Oh, then he's safe for sure then with that. But yeah, that Fire Rod shot was definitely pretty late because the visual cue for Fire Rod Torch Glitch is you want to be standing kind of about where he was above it and wait for the last tile to fall. Like, it's not super duper precise, but definitely you can miss it.
Is out of magic.
Oh,
And
oh, it
that
gets
is
it on
just
the
enough.
last one. Oh,
Very
nicely
nice.
done. Yeah, GG to Mr. Buyer.
GG's in chat. That's a finish, and that is first place.
As we have an official time of 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 8 seconds.
And shortly, wait. The beer just... No.
Beers, I think he's gonna finish, he said, yeah.
Okay, that...
Yeah, I
the
mean,
timer
it
of the
makes
race will
sense.
do some shenanigans here. Was sticking fast, but then was sticking slow. Okay. Yeah, Beers is well on track to actually finish this, so it makes sense to just take it to the end. Like, he's not that far from finishing this as well. Right, done with TR, just have to go back to Meyer to beat Beatrice. And that's it.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm a fan of finishing out a race even if you already lost, at least for me personally, since I have not grinded the game like a million times. Like, some people might not see a point in finishing, but I don't know. It just depends on the person. Nothing wrong with finishing it out here.
Oh yeah. Did they say anything about the... No. You're saying that he forgot the trick to get to the Kingstone.
Yeah,
So-
that's pretty unfortunate, but yeah, it is rando, so it's still not actually that far behind despite all of that. Maybe less than 10 minutes. Like, as I said before, homemade beer is very new to the to glitch modes in general, so it's still, this is a good performance. You just got a little unlucky. Mr. Byers.
Yeah, he'll come up sharply. As the...
Yeah, I guess we should just wait for them is the protocol, I guess.
So the times look very close to open mode. And GG Buyer.
Yeah, congratulations, GG.
GG.
So, any thoughts about the seed in particular?
I'm kind of annoyed at myself that I forgot to do backup escape because I told myself I would, but I didn't.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. Was homemade beer was in go mode before you, but was way behind you on dungeon clears due to not having the Moon Pearl as soon as you did. But you routed it back in nicely in a way that made sense after GT. So you did get where you needed to be.
Yeah, I was
And,
planning
I mean,
to... I'm sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, like, I think 126 is a good time for this seed. Like, obviously, you know, no one executes perfectly, but I think it was a good time. So what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was planning to do... I was always planning to do Front of Escape after doing GT because I hit the mirror. But it was only then that I remembered I hadn't done Back of Escape yet, so I had to do that. No, I could have done that at the start of the game. Pretty much.
Oh yeah, that has been available for a long time now. Especially since you grabbed the gloves at the island pretty early.
I think not having Hammer did help in some ways though, because I instantly went right side GT because that's the only thing I could have done. That's where the big key was.
Yeah, I agree with that. 'Cause Homemade Beer did the left side out of logic with no hook shot, and the only thing he got to show for it was silvers, which is, I guess, better than nothing, but not what he needed, though.
Yeah, I did end up doing Tower Room, but I did get a nice consolation prize with Tempered.
Yeah,
Better than nothing, at least.
yes, the beer sat through the tiles as well. But it was interesting at the start because Homemade Beer had the two swords from town, like, right away. And you did quite a bit without having swords. So that was his, like, advantage at the start. But then you got the Moon Pearl, so we weren't sure who was going to figure out, like, what to do next. This seed was kind of really unlucky for Beer in the fact that him being new to glitches in general, like, I don't know if he forgot or doesn't know the way to go to King's Tomb and Overworld glitches, and I know he also doesn't know the Hylia Island clip, the
Said he
fought.
forgot.
But Beer actually climbed Aga Tower for the Lumberjack Glove. I'm not sure why he thought that he needed it, but he did do it. So, like, that was a pretty substantial time loss, and also cleared Eastern, which was totally barren. So I think that this is a really good time for him, considering all of that. He kept it pretty close, considering all of that going on. And we're joined by Homemade Beer as well, who has just finished Ganon. GG.
Hey, GG.
GG's, yep.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I was just saying how unlucky that this particular seed was for you with the glove location and the Moon Pearl location, because I wasn't sure if you knew the King's Tomb clip or the island one, and yeah, doing Aga Tower definitely was a bit of a setback for you as well.
Yeah, so I, you know, when I've been playing these... Oh, I forgot to stop my timer. When I've been playing these, I think you've been around a little bit. I know some... I know I don't know some things, and those I just sort of ignore until they become required, and I wouldn't say either was required here. The King's Tomb one I've done before, but that's part of why I did Aga when I scouted that glove. I was like, well, I can spend some time looking this up while I'm climbing the tower, and then I forgot I didn't have the lamp, so the climb was kind of a disaster, but I survived it. And then I was just thinking the whole time, well, you don't need to do that climb. You don't even need the mitts. I just only got them because they were in the same area as the cane, and it would make getting back to Myers super quick at the end. And then, yeah, but it's pretty funny. I had to look some stuff up while I played this, and that's that's kind of been the case every time I play glitches so far. So that's why I have fun with it.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty common experience for people, like, learning glitched modes, is that you kind of learn as you go.
Yeah, I'm curious too. By the way, GG's, Mr. Byer. Nice time. This is a seed. But what was your go mode here? I was guessing the fire rod. Tempered? Or sorry,
Hammer.
Hammer? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I completely forgot about Back of Escape until I was doing Front of Escape.
Oh, was that where Hammer was? Back of Escape?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know what it would have been otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
think
Saha in
the
this
hook shot?
mode. The hook shot?
I don't remember what my go mode was actually. Might have actually been Kane.
It was him.
No, wait.
No,
The
you-
fire
yeah,
was
other
Oh
than
yeah. Oh okay, sorry.
It might have actually been Kane.
Yeah. Mine was Kane for sure. I saw that and I was like, crap, because I had already dipped Meyer. I'm like, all right, well. And I saw you found the lamp too.
Oh, do you want to guess where that was?
Hang on, let me look at my tracker. Yeah, no, probably not. Pyramid Fairy? I don't know.
No, it was Pod Basement Rupee Room.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. There was a nice, like, once I hit go mode route where I'm like, well, I can just do GT now, and I had, like, kind of low percent. I think I was still on 8 hearts and, like, Master Sword. I'm like, well, if I go search for the big key, if it's kind of buried, then I get a bunch of safeties to finish the last 2 dungeons. So that's why I did GT before Meyer and TR.
Oh yeah, we were very curious about the decision to go to GT at that point because you still had TR and Meyer, and you were on the mountain, and we weren't sure where you were going. And then you did the left side like fully out of logic. So I was just curious what the reasoning for that was, and you answered that. So thank you.
Yeah, I knew the hookshot was somewhere because there was only 1 key in the front. I'm like, okay, well, literally everything in here is out of logic then, so just go clear it. Yeah, no, this was fun. I'm glad I got to join one of these and get to watch back and see how professional does it.
You did really good considering you did a Baron Eastern and a non-required Aga. I would say I wouldn't be, you know, ashamed of anything at all about your performance. Honestly, it was pretty close considering. Like, I mean, it's just unfortunate that the seed didn't require any pendant dips, and the whole King's Two Moon Pearl like threw you off a little bit, but. Yeah, it wasn't like you got like totally blown away or anything. I mean, it was pretty close for most of it. We weren't sure who was going to figure out like what they needed to do because I was pretty sure you were going to get Samaria and Hype Key eventually, but we didn't know when Mr. Byer was going to go back for the back of Escape. So it was a good race, and I'm glad to see you participating.
Oh,
in
for
stuff
sure,
like
yeah.
this,
I love that the glitch community has been so helpful, like learning and stuff. It's been really fun.
Yeah. You interested in the mentor training?
Oh, absolutely. I've been mostly doing Overworld. I think I know like 1 or 2 HMG tricks, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that.
So yeah, any closing thoughts about the race?
Just thanks for putting it on. Thanks for coming and throwing together a restream crew for this. That was awesome. And thanks, Mr. Byer, for joining up so the race didn't die. I really have been wanting to do an actual race in one of these for a while now. So
Yeah. I feel like it's been a while since we've had like a non-tournament glitched daily.
Oh, right,
So-
yeah. No logic tournament and all that.
Been kind of missing them. So thanks for this race.
Feel free to like ping Discord. I mean, this is not my favorite glitched mode, but I mean, that it's fun to play with races with people. The glitched races are definitely fewer and farther between than non-glitched. So I don't know. And thanks for playing.
Cool. Yeah, anytime. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
All right, thank you to Alex for tracking as well. Thank you to my co-com Hugo.
Yeah, so let's post the links in chat. And the bot is not set up on this channel. That's okay. So look at the schedule. We were supposed to have 2 races for the Open League season, and neither of them are scheduled for the Speed Gaming channel. So I guess that's a loss.
Is there not one right now on Speed Gaming 3?
Yeah, there's
is
one
that
right now on
old?
Speed Gaming 3, and there's 2 more that are just not scheduled. Yeah, so MM3, that's What game is that?
Mega
That
Man
is
3?
Oh, that might be it. Speed Gaming 4 in an hour and 20 minutes. And then we have a ton of League stuff scheduled for the rest of the day. Let's see. At 8 p.m. and SM Chozo 2022. That has 4 spots reserved. Let's see. 8 p.m. at Speed Gaming 4. 7 p.m. at Speed Gaming 2. 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. at Speed Gaming 3. And we got Mario Kart 64. 9 p.m. Speed Gaming 2. So yeah, schedule today is packed. There is choice. And that's it. It's been fun with you. So, GD, if you wanna close us out.
Alright, well, thank you again for co-commenting, Hugo. Thanks to Homemade Beer, Mr. Byer, for racing. Thank you to Alex. I'm not going to try to pronounce the rest of your name. Thank you to Alex for tracking. Thank you to Speed Gaming. And thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.